Mike Modano, Mark Messier, Tony Esposito, Paul Correa, and Felix Potvin. These are just a few examples of players who you may associate with one specific franchise, but may have forgotten about additional stops along the way. And those stops, well, they just look different. In this episode, we identify a few more players whose change of address made for some odd looks, or in some cases, stops you may have forgotten about. The all-time goals and points leader with the Ottawa Senators, Daniel Alfredsson was, and still is for many, the face of the franchise. Though his on-ice tenure with the Sens was filled with various levels of success, Alfredsson's contributions and presence in the community was also well revered. A sixth-round pick in the 1994 NHL entry draft, Alfie played 17 seasons for the Senators, emerging as the team's leader and arguably the best player in franchise history. Despite just one appearance in the Stanley Cup Finals, his run was good enough to earn him a spot in the Hockey Hall of Fame and will forever be remembered as one of the best Sweden had to offer. While Lord Stanley eluded Alfredsson during his NHL career, he did make one last-ditch effort, signing a deal with the Detroit Red Wings for the 2013-14 season. The winged wheel is a foreign look for Alfredsson, and one that we wish could have been avoided to keep Alfie as a one-franchise soldier.
Alfredsson scores! The losing flame has been extinguished!
As good a defenseman the game has ever seen, Chris Chelios was everything you wanted on your back end. Offense, defense, hard-nosed, rugged, and difficult to play against. He found success everywhere he went, winning a Stanley Cup in Montreal and 2 more championships with the Detroit Red Wings. In between those stops, Chelios spent 9 seasons with the Chicago Blackhawks, winning 2 of his 3 Norris trophies as the NHL's best defenseman. With a career that spanned parts of 27 seasons, Chelios is considered one of the best to ever patrol the blue line. And while many associate him with one of the aforementioned 3 clubs, many forget that Chelios had a 7-game stint in the 2009-10 season with the Atlanta Thrashers. Though it didn't last very long, seeing Chelios in baby blue just looks odd. A fan favorite as a member of the Edmonton Oilers, Bill Ranford may not be the most well-known on this list by comparison, but still boasted accomplishments that many never achieved. Following in the footsteps of one of the greatest goaltenders to ever play the game in Grant Fuhr, Ranford was tasked with trying to backstop a dynasty at the end of its run to another Stanley Cup championship. Ranford was successful, not only leading the Edmonton Oilers to the Stanley Cup in 1990, but winning the Conn Smythe Trophy that spring as the playoff MVP. While the years that followed weren't as successful, the name Bill Ranford and the Edmonton Oilers were synonymous and still are with each other. Many forget, however, that Ranford and his 2-pad stacks were also on display in other hockey markets. After 9 seasons in the Alberta capital, Ranford would spend time with the Boston Bruins, Washington Capitals, Tampa Bay Lightning, and a 4-appearance stint with the Detroit Red Wings before coming back to Edmonton in a 16-game finale with the Oilers in 1999-2000. Fresh off the Canadian prairies, Wendell Clark is the epitome of old-time hockey. The pride of Kelvington, Saskatchewan was everything you wanted in a hockey player at the time. He could score, hit, fight, lead. There weren't many players in the NHL that were more respected than number 17. Known for his incredible wrist shot and his bulldog style, Clark enjoyed 3 different stints with the Toronto Maple Leafs over 12 seasons and was a fan favorite amongst the Maple Leaf Garden faithful. It's odd to remember, though, that Clark played for 5 different teams over the course of his career. He played a combined 185 games for the Quebec Nordiques, New York Islanders, Tampa Bay Lightning, Detroit Red Wings, and the Chicago Blackhawks before calling it a career in 2000. A teammate of Wendell Clark for so many years in Toronto, Doug Gilmore is often regarded as a Maple Leaf first and foremost. Though he started his career in St. Louis and later moved on to win his only Stanley Cup with the Calgary Flames, many associate Gilmore with his time spent in the national spotlight of Toronto. The former Selke Trophy winner holds the Leafs' single-season scoring record, notching 129 points in the 1992-93 season. His tenure as a Leaf is right up there amongst the best in franchise history. But do you remember, over his 20-year NHL career, Gilmore also made appearances with the New Jersey Devils, Chicago Blackhawks, Buffalo Sabres, and the Montreal Canadiens, and none of those look right. That does it for this episode. What are some examples that you remember? Any players in different jerseys that don't look right to you? Leave some thoughts in the comments below, and we'll include them in a future video. Thanks for watching, and remember, keep your stick on the ice.